Are you trying to eat healthy, but you miss crunchy chips? Then I've got the answer for you. My name is Dr. Brooke Goldner, and if you're already following me, you know that I teach that the answer to getting your health back from diseases like autoimmune disease, like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and other chronic diseases is eating lots of fresh vegetables and avoiding unhealthy foods like processed foods with oils in them. Well, a lot of people tell me that what they miss most is something to crunch on. They miss chips. Well, I want to show you how to make my favorite chips that my family loves, and they're actually good for you. So what I'm going to show you how to make today are dehydrated kale chips. Now, all you need for this, it's very simple, is kale. Now, you can buy it fresh, or you can cheat like me and use a bag of organic kale that's pre-washed and already cut into small pieces. I'm busy, I like to have things as easy as possible. And a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and a teaspoon of sea salt. That's all I'm using for this recipe. It's only going to take me about 5 minutes to make it, and then about 3 to 5 hours to dehydrate it, and well, about 5 minutes for my family to completely consume it. Let me show you how to do it. All right, first let me put the sauce ingredients in. So this is going to make a cheesy type of chip. So all it is the nutritional yeast, the lemon juice, and the salt. And I'm just going to mix those together really quickly just with my whisk. Nothing too exciting here. And then what I'm going to do is actually use my hands to massage it into the kale. Open it. Now you don't need a lot of sauce for this. You don't want to get the kale too wet. You just want to distribute all of the seasoning over all the kale. And the best way to do this is to massage it. By the way, that's also the best way to put dressing on kale. Kale's pretty rough, but when you massage the dressing in, it actually gets a lot softer and easier to eat. So you're getting in there. I think we're almost about done here. So even though it's a very small amount of ingredients, you can see it pretty much coats everything here. Now, you can change the ingredients up according to your taste. There's no right or wrong way to do this. If you want a cool ranch flavor, you can use a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You can add cayenne pepper. If you like spicy flavor, you can add a little cayenne. My kids don't like spice, so I'm not going to do that. But you can really alter the flavor however you like, and it really does come out like a chip. So I'm actually just going to try it to see if I like how the taste came out. So don't tell anyone. See, that's already good. I taste the lemon and the salt and the cheesiness of the yeast. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put them onto the dryer sheets, and we're going to dehydrate them and show you how it comes out. All right, so this is an Excalibur Dehydrator. This is the one that all raw food chefs use. Now, I am not a raw food chef per se, I'm a doctor. But when I was buying materials for raw foods, I really wanted to buy the best things possible. And so this is the one that's always recommended. Now, you don't have to get this enormous one. In fact, I recommend if you have a fairly small family, you get the 5-tray version. When I was asking for a dehydrator a decade ago from my husband, he said, okay, well, I only want to buy one, so let's just get the biggest one there is. I rarely ever fill this thing to the top. There's a 5-tray version that it will fit in your kitchen better. This is actually a 9-tray version where you could feed a lot of people. So dehydrators are really simple. You can actually leave them running all day long. And what they do is they apply a really gentle, warm breeze to the food to gently lift the moisture out of the food. And if you want to keep it living, it actually shows you right here. You want to keep it living. Normally we say to keep it under 115 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be 46 degrees Celsius. I'm actually going to make these at only 105 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 41 degrees Celsius for 3 to 5 hours. So you can put it on, you can walk away, do other things, and it'll be ready. On the inside, it's very simple. So we just have really simple trays. that allow the air to go through. Now with kale chips, you don't even need to turn them over. We're just gonna put the kale on these, put them in, and let them go. All right, so all we're gonna do is we're gonna take the kale, we're just gonna spread it out on these sheets. I don't need the stem, I'll take that stem out. Now, if you're wondering if this actually tastes good, it really does. I have a client right now who's doing 4 weeks of rapid recovery with me, where he gets to talk to me every day for 4 weeks, as much as he needs to. And his biggest craving right now is for greasy, oily chips. And so I told him about this and he said, but kale chips sounds gross. So it's not gross, it tastes really good. So I'm hoping that he watches this video and he goes out and makes these. Now you can buy kale chips. It costs about $5 or $6 a bag to get about a handful of kale chips. If you have a dehydrator, it's actually really inexpensive. It only cost me a couple dollars for that entire bag of, that bag right there is 12 ounces of kale. It's gonna make a lot of chips. So if you're going to dehydrate regularly, it actually makes a lot of sense to invest. So that's one. And all we do is put it in the tray. It's actually a lot easier than baking because you're not gonna burn anything. And if you want to see, I'm actually alternating these, leaving a little bit of space just because these kale are sticking up pretty high. So I'm just putting every other tray in there. We've only got one more tray to go and we should have a good amount of kale chips. So again, like I said, this is a 9-tray machine, but even with that amount of kale, 1, 2, 3, 4, I used 4 trays. So that'll be enough. All right, so then all you do is you just place the lid on and you're just going to turn it on to 105 degrees. You hear that little hum? That means it's on. You literally can walk away from this. And for these chips, it's gonna be about 3 to 5 hours. And we just wanna get them crunchy, get the water out, and they're ready. You don't want to cook them too long. You just want to get them right to the point that they're crunchy. And then I'll call the kids in and you'll watch a magic trick of how they disappear. See you in a few hours. All right, they're ready. So it's been about 3.5 hours. I just shut off the machine. Let me show you what it looks like. So you can see they kind of shrink down. So all the dehydrator do is lift some of the water out of here. So what I'm going to do is empty this out into a bowl and then I'm going to let the kids attack it. So you can see these are super crispy. I mean, they just break apart and they're really good. I mean, there's a little hint of the kale taste. Depends on how much salt and other things you put on it will alter the flavor. But pretty much as soon as you make them, somebody will show up and eat them. So you want to go ahead and try one of the kale chips?
Sure.
You gotta pick the right one. Just make sure you touch them all. There you go. So, what do you think?
I'd say there's a vague reference of kale if I knew what that meant.
Okay, so there you go. There's from a 10-year-old expert, but this is a really fun way to get that crunch in, get the flavor in, feel like you're having chips, and you're still getting some nutrients. Now, when you dehydrate and you keep the temperature below 115 degrees or so, it's supposed to preserve some of the nutrients. Now, if you're on my rapid recovery plan, I don't count the dried foods towards your total kale for the day just because I've never done a study looking at if people truly get the same results with dry food versus fresh food. But it's a great addition. You just need to make sure you also drink your water because the water was removed out of this. And if you eat 12-ounce bag of kale completely dried out, you should be adding back water for yourself as well. So make sure you stay super hydrated and have fun having completely guilt-free chips. I have one too.